join me in prayer, please? Father God, we come to you anticipating the beginning of summer, and if we see our forecast, the heat will rise. But we are more worried about the heat in our nation, disrest, the people of not respecting each other, not caring about lives and about what matters. And yet we know that's the essence of why we are a country, because we came here to establish that all lives matter and that everyone has the opportunity to rise above from where they started. And Father, maybe what we need is a little more giving and inciting and believing that one can succeed, can raise them up by the old term of by their bootstraps. And let us reach inward and help one another to come up and to better ourselves. Father, forgive us of our sins. Forgive us for the ill thoughts we sometimes have toward our brothers and sisters. Father, remember those that are serving and watch over them and reach out to the first responders, those in uniform, those defending the country, those defending our rights on the streets. Father, be here with us and guide us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas pledge.
Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Take your seats. This time I'd like to ask if there are any public comments by anyone. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is anyone, Commissioners, I want to ask you all, remind you last Friday on the new tax abatement ordinance that we are considering. It's the time for the renewal of that. It has been over 2 years. And Ms. Jennings has prepared a much better document than we had before. It's more thorough and involved. And I didn't know if you all wanted to bring that down for discussion or if you were happy with the last rendition.
Well, Tracy actually listened to our conversation Friday and picked up those changes we discussed, Judge. I didn't have anything outside of that. I felt like that was extremely thorough, and you, I know, had looked at some different things you had questioned as well, but I mean, it's certainly a clean, thorough document.
It's a great improvement, much more detailed and much more explanative of what we're doing. And I think what it does, it tells our partners in the future that we are changing kind of what we've had just due to the times. And I think probably one of the big things is we look at tax abatement. If we have things that we have additional things we have to raise interest and sinking fund for, that raises our total taxable amount and creeps us closer to that 80 cents. So we have to be aware of that as we try to work as a partner in the future with other local government on tax abatements. Okay, so I'm going to leave 16 then in the consent agenda. Commissioner Beecham,
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about item 5, which is a motion to accept proposal from Mr. Galdino Greggio for landscaping maintenance around the courthouse and juvenile detention center.
Yeah, this is to clean up trees, bushes, shrubbery, a lot of just miscellaneous work that needs to be done. He did start a little bit on it this weekend to show me a sample of what's going to be taking place. So we've got a lot of runners on trees and stuff that need to be taken down, shrubbery it needs to be cleaned up and taken care of. So
Okay. Do we have any kind of certificate of insurance from him?
that I don't know.
Liability insurance?
I can check. I mean,
We should have that, otherwise we're covered people.
Well, and I had not thought, this is not our regular. I guess I thought it was
yeah,
our
this is
regular.
the same guy.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
It's Dino.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought it was.
That's what, yeah, okay, Okay, I bet you we have
Yeah.
on Dino, Galdino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Dino, so
Okay.
it's the same.
I'm sorry, no.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, but I just double check
Okay.
it once while we assume that, I believe that's.
And Judge, I had a question I wanted to find out about on item 12, too. Now, on the personal property storage equipment, did we unable to use any of Lori's, or did we use that in a different application? She had those very nice, she gave us shelves, Commercial
Evidence. Right.
like Sam's storage, Sam's warehouse.
Yeah, these are quite a bit different. These are the shelving that's like 7 foot tall, 30 foot deep, and sits on like railroad tracks that you move around. That very high density, so you pack them into an area, and you don't have to have as wide of an area because they're on a track, and you just move a.
You slide one and
slide
pull one
one.
forward, like,
You slide one, kind of similar to what we have in
like in the
our
DA's
break-
office
like in our-
lobby
Yeah, kind of like what we have in our office, but at much larger scale.
scale.
They offset from each other, so it's kind of like playing that old little game with plastic. thing.
Yeah,
It's like-
okay. And so you can use up a tight space with a lot of.
Yeah, well, this is a very large space. This is both for the property, personal property storage and evidence area, so.
Well, then, how do we come by Hudson Blueprint to install those? Is it just something they
They're-
sell this stuff, or
Yes.
is this?
Yeah,
They're
yeah, they
through
were
my board. So
GSA, actually, it's a
Yeah.
GSA contract, so. But they've worked with us from design to now. and-
On this
on these-
particular kind
These
of?
2 units, yes.
Okay, so these are a little bit, they've
They're-
got some engineering involved in the
Yeah, they're
installation.
specialized units, yeah. They're not a general shelf in the sense. So they require a deck to be put down and tracks to be put down.
But, you know, the two that we have here have lasted, I mean, apparently long time, so this is something that could have a very long life,
Well, this
right?
should have the life of the building. These are large industrial type shelving. This is,
I just didn't know if that Hudson Blueprint, if we had just randomly used installation
No.
group, or if this is something they knew to install.
no, Glenda, you want to speak toward it?
They have installed these type of items for me in hospitals across, we've done them, we did one about 20 plus years ago in Children's Hospital, that they're still using it. They've installed them for me in lots of different types of applications. They are a very specific, there's a couple of different brands of them. Hudson's is just one, they are a very reputable distributor of a brand. Another similar brand is Space Saver. And we designed these 2 specific areas around this type of storage, because otherwise we would have had to have 3 or 4 times as large of an area to keep the amount of storage that we would need in both the personal property and in the evidence type areas. So this is just one of the many storage areas that there'll be, and there could be other storage that is being used there for other things. There's, I can't tell you the amount of different types of storage that we've got out there.
I just, it caught my attention that it was a quarter of the price of the entire shelving, just to have the installation done, and I didn't know if that was something.
It's very, very specialized, and it has to be like perfectly level, because these things do move on this track, but they're very, very heavy, but you can move them with just your hand, you can roll them.
But an experienced installer, it's.
Yes,
yeah.
and they are very experienced in doing it, and they've been doing it for many, many years.
Okay.
And I have no doubts and worries about them doing it at all.
Okay. Always
I
do us
work-
good
I work
work,
with
so, okay.
A long time doing these.
Anything else on the consent agenda? Do I have a motion to approve it?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any other comments, anyone in the audience? Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, first item on general business, to review and approve the review and approve the regular bills for payment.
Motion to approve.
Thanks, sir.
Second.
Any questions, comments on the bills? Motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Muller. All in favor of the item, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 4-0. Item 2 is discuss and consider action to approve Clark Intercivic Road number 6565 for a ballot now printer and a Kodak I-660 central scanner software and monitor for elections for a cost of $62,675 plus shipping, to be paid by transfer from general fund contingencies to lines determined by the county auditor. This will also be submitted under the HAVA Information to Help Americans Vote Act dash COVID-19 that Ms. Bohannon and I, along with Commissioner Beecham, are putting together the things we're going to submit for reimbursement. Through that. But Laura, do you want to go ahead and Ms. Bohannon explain why you think this is necessary to go ahead and do this now instead of next year?
Well, as we have discussed several times on, if we have to do all mail voting in November, we'll have to have it count, because there's no way that one will do it. So this is just to be prepared for that. We're trying to get ahead of the game instead of be behind. The only thing too, because I did kind of mention to George that we would have this and all this morning, and we were talking about getting another printer to help print these ballots. And he said none of our printers would do it, even the Xerox. So I'm getting emails every day from companies that will print the ballots and mail them out. So that's something we may have to look into also.
But this is when they come back in.
This is after they
Bring it
come
to
back
the
in.
county.
Yes.
And you mentioned if we had, but we have a significant population over 65 and then 65 and the age.
65 and above can request a ballot and disabled. And we are getting applications in daily from people.
The significant thing for people to remember, if you are over 65, you request that mail-in ballot, you
Can't go to the polling
You can't
location.
can't go to
vote.
polling locations without returning that ballot.
Does it not apply to the other step too, that asked that, Judge? That you said handicapped and over 65, the handicapped, that they can still go to the polls?
No.
No,
If you request a ballot by mail, that's it, you voted.
Regardless of who you are?
Regardless of if we get that ballot back or not, you are coded in the system as voted. So if you change your mind and you don't want to vote that paper ballot, you need to turn that paper ballot back in. You can take it when you go, if you go to early vote, you can take that unvoted ballot, turn it into them and vote a regular ballot. If you show up and they say, well, we show you already have a ballot, they're gonna look at you and say, well, you know, if you have this, well, I'll throw it away, or I shredded it, I don't wanna vote it, I don't know what happened to it. Then you'll have to vote provisionally, which, you know, if at the end of the day proves that we never received your ballot back, then that vote will count. But if we receive your ballot back, then the provisional vote will count because you've already voted. So, you know, that's the hard thing. A lot of the candidates and the political parties send out these applications for ballots by mail, and these people will sign them and send them in, and then be upset because they got this ballot in the mail. I didn't request this. Well, yes, you did.
Yeah.
We don't just send them out. You have to request the ballot. We can't just send you a ballot.
But can a person that's like me that wouldn't qualify, can I request one and how's the vetting process happen when a person like me would send you a request for a mail-in ballot?
Well, if you sent in a request and didn't check one of the reasons, we would try to contact you to find out, you know, we could look at your birth date and tell that you're not over 65. But if you didn't put disabled, or you were gonna be out of the county during the early voting period and give us an address outside the county, then you wouldn't get a ballot. See, we have a lot of military ballots,
Right.
which we did get out by Friday.
Very good.
Good. But this is just in preparation of the anticipated additional ballots or the possibility of going to mail ballots only or majority mail ballots. So we have not only redundancy, backup capability, but
Yeah.
also have the capability to run that volume.
What's availability on this machine, or is it readily available?
Yes, I actually, when the judge and I talked last week, to put it on here for today, I sent an email to Hart and told her that it was gonna be on the agenda, and she says as soon as it's approved and we send that back, she'll have their people on it, so they know that we're requesting one.
I know this is like looking at a crystal ball, but will this thing have the capability of working in a future system that we may have? I mean, I understand that's,
It's on the system.
I agree, I know, but.
They haven't been known, I mean,
Yeah.
I was tickled when iPhone finally went to a standard plug, but think every time you change phones, you
Yeah.
gotta get rid of all of those.
Right.
I think I've got a 55-gallon barrel of old plugs and cords. And I ask that because when you make this kind of an investment, you'd like to know that, you know, we were gonna be able to use it on it then. I understand that's not,
I don't know,
Always possible.
I honestly don't know how any of the new systems
yeah.
work.
It takes a little sting out of it if you know that this is gonna be something we're gonna use for the next 15 years. And
Yeah, I would probably say no.
thank you.
Well, being as there's a likely grant
Yeah.
reimbursal on this purchase, and voting is one of the most important things we do in this building,
Absolutely.
I would make the motion that we approve.
Thanks, sir. Second,
Second.
any other comments, anyone in the audience? Okay. Motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the item as stated. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried 4-0. Item 3 is discuss, consider, take action to award financing bid to Postel Family Credit Union for the sheriff's vehicles to establish membership with Postel Family Credit Union for the Wichita County, Texas account, and to authorize Woodrow W. Gossett Jr. County Judge as the signing authority. Mr. Wall had reviewed the various bids. Postel was significantly lower, and Mr. Wall, you feel like all the terms are within our normal contract we look for?
We will have to receive the final contract with Postel, and that'll be subject to legal review.
Okay, so we're still waiting on that final, okay. All right.
Judge, I'd make that motion that we accept the bid as
Okay.
we
Good.
requested by RFP,
Pending legal review?
Yeah.
pending legal
Is
review.
that your second? sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other comments, anyone in the audience? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 4-0. Item 4 is discuss, consider, take action on a buy board quote for Rush Ford for pickup trucks for precinct 2 and precinct 3. For order, you were given some information we got this morning, and understand the commissioners have reviewed those specs. Is that Commissioner Lawler, and you all want to select the one? There's 2 of them in stock, F-250s,
Yes.
XLT crew cab 4x4 with the 8-foot, bed instead of 8-foot cab would have been interesting.
Yeah.
And they're both diesel. And that's for a price of $51,316.40 each.
Motion to approve after visiting with Mr. Wall this morning.
Is there a second?
Second.
And those are to be paid in cash out of current funds.
Correct.
Any other comments, questions in the audience? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 4-0. Okay, we're out down to item number 5, is receive an update on the law enforcement center. We have our architecture representative, Linda Ramsey here, and Gates Construction representatives, Michael Perry and Steve Parker. Glad to have you all here.
I'll turn the floor over to them since they're here, so I invited them here, so it's better to hear straight from the horse's mouths at times, so.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, thank you for having us this morning. A couple just brief updates. If you haven't seen, the second round of 3 rounds of the cells are going in place, which is exciting because these are your double stack cells. We've actually got an upper level tier of these. It's exciting to see these things stack on top of each other and they roll them in on skateboards, so it's quite an operation. We've got some pictures of that. We'd be glad to distribute out to everybody and Commission whenever you feel like that's appropriate. Third round will happen in July. You'll start seeing the holes that are on the side of the building starting to enclose. We're still on track to open up the sheriff's office in September, as we originally promised. So, brief update for you. We're glad to dive into all the details of how the grass grows and the paint dries and all those great things. But I think those are the highlights.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. No, we're hitting milestones pretty much weekly now, so.
Truly
Looking
paint drying, they're truly getting the.
Well, the drywall is
The
just,
drywall is just about
flying.
finished in the sheriff's department area, and they are texturing and painting it, and we,
did we settle on a texture?
I've got some pictures of some other ones that you
Okay.
need to look at, and as soon as we get the texture approved, they'll get the final coat of paint on that, and.
Details.
It's, now it's coming to those little nitty gritty little details exactly. And it, you know, my pedometer when I walk the site, it goes off because it takes you really thoroughly to walk the job, which from one end to the other, it takes about 2 hours to walk it from all the way from one end to the other, going through nearly all of the different rooms and everything. It takes right at 2 hours, and so you're on your feet and walking for a long time. An exercise program will be a good, you know, the people that will be walking back and forth a lot will get a good exercise program going.
Glenda, how does that drywall, how's that applied to the type of structure we have? Is there a stud actually inside there?
Okay, so on the exterior walls where the concrete walls are there, yes, then they'll, in the office type area, not in the jail specific area, but in the office type area, the nicer type of area that people will be in an office, there is a stud inside and then drywall attached to that. And then the walls in between office to office to office are a drywall inside of that. So that area is much like a normal commercial building, and it will feel much of the normal commercial building. The cells area is more of the steel and concrete. So it's a combination of the 2 different types of buildings meshed together.
But the outside walls on the office side are
They
just
are
applied
equal-
to the...
They are equal to the concrete, the full 12-inch thick, just like what it is around the entire building. The entire surface of the entire building is the full sandwich panel of concrete on the outside, concrete on the inside, insulation in between. So none of the exterior walls are different from anything else. So they're all as strong and as protected as what anything else is. It's just
Except
that
for the
once you
warehouse
get,
and the Sally Port.
Right, except for, yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. The warehouse, we came down and did basically a metal building with, the metal building texture clad on the outside of the warehouse and the Sally port. And then right inside of both of those areas is the concrete wall in, and then as you enter into the detention area.
And much of the office area is additionally capped with the concrete
Right.
roof, so it's a
One
all
whole
hardened building.
side of it, the north full side of the administrative area is concrete capped, and so it's basically a massive storm shelter too, so.
Mm. Cool.
It has block walls and the concrete roof deck, and so it's secure.
Really, the whole office side of the sheriff's department will be under a concrete cap. It's just the training and support side of that building A is not
Right.
under the concrete cap.
But it will, it's coming together, man, they're moving, you blink, you know, you blink and it's like, when did that get there?
Well, we appreciate the work and effort, and thought I'd have you up here to answer any questions today as we're hitting more milestones, and we did have this change order on the consent agenda, so. Any questions on that?
Anything else we can answer?
Thank y'all very much.
Very much. Good to see y'all. It's not Thursday, but still good to see you.
How's the baby, by the way? Stephen's a new father.
Oh, wow.
Apparently she woke up at 2 o'clock this morning, but I did not hear her, and I never even heard my wife get out of bed and check on her, so.
That was on purpose.
It was an accident.
You've learned well.
Not bad for the first one, huh?
Good trick.
Yeah, the question is, how are your ribs?
I did feel a bit of a pain in my side this morning when I woke up.
All right, guys, like it. Anyone else have anything to brief the court on this morning to bring forward? Mr. Hampton?
Judge, Commissioners, distinguished guests, I want to let everybody know that Chief Howard Chapman passed away Friday. Chief Chapman is probably our longest serving minister in Wichita Falls. He came here in 1969 from Louisiana, and Dr. Level was there, and has been a youth minister, associate minister, and recently just has participated with Dr. McCartney up here at First Baptist, so just a super good guy. His funeral's gonna be Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and I thought you guys would like to know that.
Yeah.
He's just a super good guy, Army veteran. Talked to the Army this morning, and they were not sure if they could provide a honor guard at all, so it's just a sad situation for our
Now, he was in during Korea, but he mentioned not only about his battles on the football field.
yeah, very athletic man.
Oh, yeah.
And just a longtime personal friend of mine, and of course, my family.
Well, he was at Lamar for a long time too, wasn't he? I think he right, Lamar Baptist.
No, he's always been here at First Baptist, Judge.
Okay. Well, I worked with
Yeah,
him.
Dr.
also.
Level, you know, he came out of
Yeah.
Louisiana. Dr. Level was a KA, although he told me, don't ever tell that in public. Just, he brought him up here, and Chief is actually a shortening of, he was known as a youth pastor in Louisiana, a little community that I don't even, you saw in the newspaper.
Yes, sir.
I still can't pronounce it, but it's mostly Indian culture in that area, Indian/French. And he was the youth pastor there, and he went by Chief Red Cloud. Because
Wow.
he's 6'5", and he has absolutely flaming red hair. Did
Yeah.
you know him, Jeff?
No, I
You
didn't.
missed out.
I mean, that's the reason my dad and he became such fast friends, because they had that hair situation the same. And then when he came up here, well then Dr. Level just shortened the name to Chief, called him Chief Chapman, and he just hung. So that's his, according to his kids, that became his legal first name. So that's the way that worked.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool, isn't it? Good man,
You know, Bob,
Thank
solid as a rock.
one thing about this, whatever this is we've been through the last month and a half or 2 months, is it sure has been sad. We've missed honoring a lot of people that have passed during that time because you couldn't have the traditional service and all that. And that's, to me, it's been a really sad deal when
And
people
what's
pass.
really sad, Commissioner, is
Yeah.
the fact they burned that historical church in Washington DC
Right.
yesterday, and that's,
Yeah,
that,
it's just been,
that really jacks me up.
you know, it's been tough. I mean, I've known several people who passed and you can't even really do what you would traditionally do, you know, as far as paying respect to the family and all. It's
Exactly.
kind of a tough deal. So maybe we'll see the light at the end of the tunnel, I hope.
Anyone else? Okay. Commissioner Beecham?
Busy week last week dealing with storm damage around the county. Had a lot of tree damage here on this campus and possible roof damages around other campuses. And I had 75 window panes broke out at Precinct 1. So it's quite a bit of destruction with the little storms that come through a week ago. Road crews are out, busy, about ready to start chip sealing over the next couple of weeks, so watch out for them when you're out and about. That's all I have.
Thanks, sir. Commissioner Mahler?
Just a lot of work going on in the county. Our road crews continue to be busy getting prep made for summer paving season. We're starting mowing today to kind of get our right-of-ways cleaned up. A lot of activity in the county right now. Weed harvest is in full swing, so be careful if you're out on our rural roads. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of big traffic, a lot of slow traffic. Give those guys 4 or 5 days and it'll be over and they'll be gone. So just a lot of activity.
Where are they at, Barry? Where do you see them staged like used to out by Helena, but now that Helena's
Well,
not?
there's not nearly as many of them as there used to be. I'm telling you, those things are just good grief.
But do they stay close to the place
Yeah,
at
there's some
Burt?
out at some of the camps around the area, and then we've got crews that stay as far as Vernon and work down here, so they're more spread out. Used to be, there'd just be hundreds of them, and now it doesn't take as much to do it, technology and size of that stuff, but just be careful out there, a lot of slow moving equipment. And give them a few days, and it'll be over, and we'll be back to normal. So just, you know, we've all been kind of watching this food situation through this coronavirus deal. I talked to my son who at the meat packing business, and he said the meat chains coming back around. He said they're running at 35 to 40% capacity now at their plant, and he said this thing will gradually get back to normal, and things will be better. Hopefully by the 4th of July, you can buy a brisket for less than $200. I'm not guaranteeing that, but we're headed in that direction. But it is coming back online, and you know, there's just so many of our industries, that being one of them, that have just been directly affected at this, and it's going to have an influence on our economy and on our supply-demand situation for the next however many months. I'm sure construction's been the same way. There's stuff that we don't even think about on a day-to-day basis that really is affecting the way people do business. But it's gradually coming back. They've set some new standards in the plant to, you know, kind of prevent the spread. So hopefully we're beginning to get some speed again. We need it desperately. We need to get this country rolling and moving forward. So that's it, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner White?
Yes, Judge, thank you. We've had, of course, why, I'm not certain as to the volume of rain. When our area gets rain, Electra gets just a little bit more than everybody else. And
Sure
we
seems
have
that way.
sure dealt with, of course, our county line project is at a critical stage, and we've been able to hold what we've got, but it's been with a few deviated plans concerning it to hold it there. We are moving some riprap today to help facilitate that some better, and it looks like the weather may cooperate with us here for a while, and it's going to get hot and dry quickly. One thing I've been amazed with, and I thought about, Barry had listed on our what's the term for TAC associated grant with the energy roads. The culverts, well, mine aren't waiting for that project. They've been giving it up just right and left, and it's due to the wet ground and water running through them quickly, and
Heavy
we've had to
loads.
get out
Heavier
there
loads.
and try to
Yeah.
get those swapped quickly because we've got combines coming across them, and last thing we want is that to happen. It saddens me, I guess, we took out the drain that was built by WPA project back in the 40s and went on this county line, but I have lots of other small box culverts poured by hand, cement. They have held up and they do well. It's just they no longer fit the road. You know, they pull into one lane, a 2-lane road, and it's can be troublesome, and they're we slowly but surely trying to address that. But we have been very, very busy. For whatever reason, the Gophers moved on us out between precinct 2 and where it hits precinct
We
4.
sent them your way.
I think so. He was telling us about the tactics they moved to push them, and I think he pushed them right on top of me. But we did have some sinkholes develop from that, and we've had to jump in the middle of that as well. But hopefully, within 5 to 6 days weather holding, we should have county line ready to seed that waterway. So hopefully that's going to be come to a quick wrap up. But Judge, that's really all I have.
You'll be able to cover that Tyler meeting Wednesday.
Yes, sir, I will be.
Thank you. And just a small personal note, I'm going to be celebrating my 31st anniversary with Chris. I'm not sure whether she's going to celebrate the same with me or not. Y'all may well understand that. But,
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. And nice thing.
Wow.
We're going to go to Fort Worth today to meet our son and daughter-in-law. We're moving from Houston to there, where she's going to become an assistant DA with Tarrant County.
Oh,
And
cool.
so that'll put them close enough for grandparent duty when they get around to doing their part of that. according to Chris.
Well,
So,
we have no available people in the civil division and DA's office to, don't even bring up Tracy Jennings' name.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right.
That's how that works, Tracy. I promise you, that's how that works.
Yeah, we can attest to that.
Yeah, I know.
All right, anything else anyone have?
Deadline for the study course is the 14th, so I gotta get on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
And,
probably not the only one.
and guys with email like Jerry.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think it would apply to, Rex.
No, I've got that on my calendar for this week, so we're gonna get that knocked out.
It's not a hard thing to do, it's just sitting down and doing it.
What is it, 45 minutes or?
45 minutes. You listen and you read and you just follow it through. It's kind of reminds me of military instruction. They're doing everything except going, when they get to what's the answer, but,
Can you eat a sandwich in one sandwich?
I don't know how big it is.
That might help.
You need to be able to see the screen, because
Yeah.
it leads you right through it, and, so we need everyone to do that. Ma'am,
Do you want to have any budget discussions?
do we have anything? The only thing I had, and I need to get some guidance from you all to be sure we're on track to, submit the deal to the volunteer fire departments, like work up that formula, but we were gonna, on those other, I think it's, we're paid for one of the 4 repeaters we need, but it'd be next year's budget to pay for the others, and we talked about some sort of prorated cost out of that. And I need some guidance on that. We've got about another $60,000 of that to be purchased, and I don't know whether you wanted to look at, from each, the department's making up and covering $5,000 per department, something like that. And now that wouldn't the two departments that get the lesser, that would wipe them out completely. So, you know,
Seems like we're running into this a lot, Judge. We're really watching our budget and trying to come up with a plan, and everybody we deal with is too, so it makes it tough on up the line and down the line from
Yes.
where we are.
and, you know, some others have actually cut theirs. You know, their requests were down, they didn't have some of it in that they have had before. But that was the only one I had that we had talked about, but had not given me any guidance on what you want to do with that. But we will have, when we get all the final figures together, we'll have some other discussions on it. But as far as I'm concerned, departments have had ample time to come back. With any particular cases, the criminal district attorney made a good presentation and information on his. And, it seems like everyone else understands the status quo is where we are, but we won't have until July 27th the final appraised value for the county, and we won't have our health insurance anticipated costs until around then also. So in the month of August, there are going to be some key things fall together. But the other thing y'all have given me is we're going to send guidance out to every one of those we make donations to, that we're going to, except for the very small ones, thank y'all. For the very small ones, we're going to only fund 80%, I think was the number we kind of talked about, and see if we have the income to pay the other 20%.
Well, it's a double whammy because so many of those organizations have lost fundraisers. It's going to be, if we really do get things up and rolling, it's going to be a tremendously busy fall and early winter, people trying to make up and catch up and have meetings and fundraisers and all that. So just keeps coming.
I'm sorry, sir.
Well, from the fire department standpoint, those guys have been busy and they're about to get a lot busier. We look at the long-term weather forecast and it's, never seems to be any lack of demand.
Well, of course, one of the things they may have to start looking at doing, and I know they resisted this for years, but is to make claims on people's homeowners insurance. And to me, that's people are paying insurance, they
What
come
that's
pay.
for.
Yeah. And it's, but that would be one of the things they can consider to help themselves. The other thing is to look at the sales tax deal.
And just continues
You mean
to lose.
special
Very
district
important.
tax?
But that one would be a significant
Undertaking. It would be a great assistance.
Yeah.
When will we have, Willie, just the restaging of our M&O, just to remain effective? When will you have, if we remained only effective, what would the structure of M&O and INS appear to be in that calculation? When will you be to that point? You can tell us.
Well, we can make estimates at any time, but we don't have the final until we get the certified tax value
And that's
and go through
nearly 2 months
truth
away.
and truth and taxation calculations.
And Judge, do you have any information? I've had multiple people ask me about activity in Wichita Falls today on any peaceful protests that are going on?
Yeah, news has had it on, there will be, this afternoon, has been organized by 3 ladies appeared on television that are organizing that. And it'll start at Park Central there at 8th and Scott. And
So just right,
just right down from us.
do we anticipate traffic to be an issue, or that people would arrive early and mill the area, or?
Lawton had a similar protest or whatever yesterday, and it was peaceful, so hopefully peaceful heads will prevail.
Yeah, as I say, we've got good people
Some
here.
good people.
I don't know, the city does have their plan together, I understand. You know, certainly our sheriff will back them up if they need it.
Or do these people only come from our community, or are there people from out of town that travel for these?
I don't know, but I'm gonna say there's likely to be some travelers, that come in. Often that's the case, there's outside people come in and stir the inside people up, and, so,
It's kind of been the history.
yeah. Yeah. I remember some of the university riots, and you ask who got this started, and they always, well, some guy came in from McGargle and told us we ought to do this, you know, or something. And they got caught up in the fray of it without necessarily getting into the reason and what were they trying to accomplish, but it just looked like something to do, especially in the years when we had protests over marijuana and other drugs on campus and that kind of thing.
Vietnam War.
Vietnam War certainly served up.
Judge, you and I have lived through that era, not, a lot of people haven't. I told my son last night, I said, this isn't anything really new. We saw it in the 60s, and I think the price tag is higher now because if you do damage to property, it just costs a lot more money than it did back then, and it's not new. We've seen it before, and interestingly enough, if you think back, it has a lot of similarities in a lot of things. So.
Yeah, and a lot of misinformation.
Yes.
And, you know, I wish the same enthusiasm and effort were put into problem solving
Yeah.
that go into show, put it into go, and I think we'd be all better off.
Well, my thought's always been is we see all of these people that want to have a walk for this and a protest for this, and that's great. We live in America, and you certainly got that right to do it, but I always thought how much more productive that would be if you just go volunteer and spend that time in some volunteer function and something you're passionate about. That's just always been my take on it, rather than walking down the street carrying a sign that makes half the people mad and half the people happy, I guess. There's just so many more productive things to do and still get the point across. So.
Well, as you said earlier this morning, no one has condoned what happened.
No,
Appalling.
I've not seen one instance where,
No, that
No.
was horrible.
Should not happen.
But at any rate, yeah, so I hope that what takes place is peaceful today and has purpose. That will do more good than anything.
Judge, what time is that supposed to start?
I think 4 o'clock, something like that.
Well, my concern is my employees. I want them protected.
Okay.
I want them to be able to leave this building and get in their cars and go home.
I
That's-
don't anticipate that that's gonna be a problem if they're parked over here and, right out there. They'll walk across, go to that. I don't see it being that large. I think the police will contain it. I don't know whether they've got the permit that's bounded that area off or not. But, yeah.
That's my family.
I guess
Don't mess with my family.
you might express that to Sheriff Duke, and I'm sure he will be.
Especially since, like, a lot of offices is all women. Very protective of my family.
Yeah, well,
They are.
I will do who it is, I'll make some contact and find out what they're doing, and maybe we put out an email that tells people that, you know,
I just didn't know if people would come early and maybe park downtown, walk around downtown until they gathered somewhere. I was concerned about similar, Lori.
And I'm all for protesting, but it's the other stuff I'm against, and I just don't.
Protesting's one thing, breaking windows is something else.
firebombing and looting.
We'll hope and pray that our good people here in Wichita Falls won't rise to that level.
Yeah, it's not our Wichita Falls folks,
No.
our Wichita County folks. I'm worried about it for 1 second.
And I think our police and sheriff's administration are very well capable of handling that. I'm sure they've got a plan that, but it sure, like Lori, like you're concerned, it sure wouldn't hurt to just reach out and mention that. Plan, what is it Lee Regone says? Prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yes.
That's what she do.
Okay. All right. It's 10:55.